Todd, we know he's a tough customer. Darnell Nurse takes a shot to throw it, leaves the game, but he's on the ice in the regular rotation. Is he coming back? Can you give us some insight?
Well, we'll get a better indication after practice, but he worked hard. He didn't show any indication of suffering from anything. Doctors have, from what I understand, cleared him. So if he's ready to play, we'll play him. He is a tough customer, and I think that's part of what makes him an attractive player. That's a real good characteristic to have.
You flipped Leon Draisaitl and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins in the third period of the game the other night and continued that way in practice today. Just wanted to get a little bit different look at a couple guys.
A little bit of a different look, and I thought Leon struggled in the first two periods and try and shake things up a little bit. We didn't have a lot of offense going in the first half of the game, so the change turned out to be a good thing for us in all four lines. So we'll continue to try it. We'll be prepared to switch if we need be.
You had a planned goaltender rotation. Do you stick with that plan? Was Talbot?
Talbot is the starting goaltender in Vancouver tomorrow.
Okay. Winner, or depending on your place in the standings, who's going to play no matter what?
Yep.
How, I mean, sometimes you can get a tunage factor that takes place, especially in this situation. How engaged did you find the players, and maybe being part of that experience the other night and also getting a positive result and getting some goals? I mean, there seemed to be a lighter, louder attitude out on the ice today.
Well, there was let's rewind. We start against Calgary. We're not very happy with the performance. We hold them accountable. They respond extremely well when they needed to in front of our fans and against a rival on a special night. That's expected of them, and they did a tremendous job. Today's practice, anytime you practice off-site, it's a little bit different. We know it was the last one. We know that we're heading to Vancouver right after this. Were we sharp? Probably not sharp enough, but we barked a little bit. I think this is a test in regards to character and professionalism coming up, and because we passed it the other night doesn't mean we get a night off now in Vancouver. Our goal is to go there, perform, and give each other our best game, get a win, and then come home and review everything.
Benoit Pouliot was out there today. I haven't seen him in a while. How's he doing?
Well, he's not playing. He won't play in Vancouver, so his year is basically over, but he wanted to get back on the skates and see what it was like to handle a puck and shoot it a little bit with his injury. Obviously, it's improved to the point where he could do that, but he's certainly not ready to play.
Same lineup of forwards?
Right now, we do, yeah.
And Darnell plays?
Darnell plays. We'll likely stick with the same group of D, yeah.
The other night, Coach, before you, in between the game and the ceremony, you were kind of talking about it, and then you went out and did it, and you walked on the ice with that deafening, incredibly deafening applause. What was that like for you?
For me as an individual,
yeah.
It was. I was 1/210th of a piece of that ceremony, and that's just the way I look at it. It's never about me. It's never about the coaches, and in fact, it's not even about this year's team that night. That was about the building and the past, and I was lucky enough to be part of it. I am truly honored to be an Oiler. I think it's special. I think it's something that more players, if they could experience it, I think it would be a great thing for them. Of course, we're not happy with where we are in the standings, but we're working towards fixing that. But to be part of the organization's an honor. It's humbling.
Was it like a kind of a goosebumps moment though, walking out there in the spotlight and the crowd?
No, not necessarily. You know what? You could hear the fans and stuff, but I didn't hear it any different than anybody else that went out. So, it was a goosebump moment because of the building and the people that were around me, and the fans showing their appreciation. I sat in that chair and I looked around. I tried to find an empty seat and you couldn't. And I think that speaks volumes of the fans. It's as much about them as it is about the 150 to 200 players and coaches that were on the ice.
Todd, do you feel like the other night was part of, the final chapter of what was, and now it's time for you and this team to sort of make your own dynasty kind of situation?
Can it be a turning point? I think it can help us, only in the fact that having those legends around, their presence, as I said, holds us accountable, that it did that night. But when I took the job here, there was a lot of excitement, energy behind the organization, but a lot of it was off the ice surface. It was getting that first overall pick and it turning into Connor, a new staff, making changes, a new building, a new manager, a new president, and there was a lot of energy, and I said it's still played on the ice. The fact that we have all this momentum behind us is great, but it's still played on the ice. It's played for 60 minutes, and at the end of the night, somebody wins and loses. And we haven't captured enough of that momentum and done a good enough job to turn that in our favor. I think we're going in the right direction, but we have a lot of work to do.
Do you sense that Maroon is becoming very much a crowd favorite here? He's got size, and they've been crying for that. The fans have been crying for that for a long time. Size and some offensive ability.
Yeah, he certainly has both of those. He's got. We talked about him after the game the other night. He's one of those unique players that can play physical and tough and have the size, but still complement high-end skilled players, whether it's finishing or making plays. And it's what's really unique about him. So got a lot of experience doing that in Anaheim with Perry and Getzlav. I think that he has the opportunity to have a really healthy, long career here with us. His summer's going to be extremely important. And I think he's beginning to realize that this would be a real good landing spot for him long term. So it's a great thing.
You mentioned this summer is going to be important. Is that translation for he has to get a little slimmer, has to work a little harder? What is that?
Well, I think he will have to make a commitment to some of those things. But his mindset, more than anything, is that I'm coming back and I have a job right now next to 97 and 14, and I'd like to keep that job. And it didn't work last year in Anaheim, so what's he going to change? What's he going to do different to make sure that he can keep that spot? And that'll be the challenge to him. I think he's a great kid. He fits our team well. He's got an energy and a passion and a smile all the time. He takes every moment to heart, and wins and losses affect him emotionally, and we need more of that around here.
Can we assume that all the players from Bakersfield will be going back Sunday morning with the players that are
Sunday, I don't think they play Sunday. I think there's like a week in between their games, if I'm correct. So,
a few games left?
yeah, and players will go back to Bakersfield. Don't quote me on the day and when it'll happen, but there will be some players that will go back.
Do you know anything about this goalie they signed from college? Or
I wasn't part of that recruiting thing. We have a good staff that I put a lot of faith and trust into, and I'm sure he's very capable of playing. I know a little bit more about Caleb. Obviously, he was here at summer camp, and
what do you think of him?
well, at summer camp, he showed that he had a lot of promise. And potential is one thing, harnessing it and applying it in a game situation is another, and he did that this year.
Do you see a difference from him and his brother?
I don't think I'm that deep into him yet to really, and I don't think it would be fair to put that on his shoulders at that age.